Hi guys, this is Patrick White with AA Commodities and Investments out of Spencer, Iowa. And today I'm just making a short video here on how to utilize carry in the futures market. Just with this recent rally in corn here, I've had some guys had a lot of questions on how they can utilize the carry in the corn market, and I'm going to talk about that here. I'm going to go ahead and first of all keep my compliance department happy and show you the disclaimer here. If you would like to read the full disclaimer, please pause the video now. All right, so today, like I said before, we're going to talk about how to utilize carry in the futures market. And I'm just going to go ahead with an example here with July 2020 futures. I've been talking about it here for a while. So, so what is carry? So carry is how much the market is incentivizing you to hold your grain. So obviously there's a difference between if you were to sell your corn in your bin today, say you've got old crop corn, there's a difference if you decide to sell it today or if you decide to sell it at a later date, say September, December, next March, stuff like that. So as an example, I did today's July 2019 futures. They closed around 390. If the September 2019 futures are at 399, you take that difference there. So there would be 9 cents of carry between July and September. So, and that's just the difference between if you were to sell today or, in September. So what is basis then? So basis is set by the co-op, and it's just a gauge of local supply and demand. So basis, the way you calculate it is you take your cash price minus your futures price. So the difference between the cash price and the futures price, and that equals your basis. So as an example here, I've got the cash price at $3.90. If the futures price was at $4, your basis would be 10 cents under the futures. So again, it's the cash price minus the futures price, and that gets you the basis. So if you had a cash price of $3.90 and the futures was $4, your basis would be 10 under. If your co-op, if they really needed grain, like in Northwest Iowa here, we were short on corn here last year. If they really needed grain, and let's say the futures price stayed constant at $4, what they could do to incentivize producers to sell is maybe they get this to a 5 under instead of a 10 under, and that would increase your cash price, by $3.95, and the futures would stay the same. So every year basis fluctuates. It depends on the area where you're at, how much it does fluctuate and how much is, quote unquote normal. But every year, it fluctuates, give or take, 10 to 30, 40 cents, depending on the year, depending on how many bushels you have in your area and how badly the co-op needs grain. So, I'm going to talk about today how you can win the basis game. Typically it's a seasonal type of a deal. Basis tends to improve over time. So what I mean by that is, like, if you look at the, the December delivery on corn here, and I can even show you that. So if you're looking at like the December delivery, that's 45 under, this is for the new crop, like January is 47, March is 45, and you look at the old crop, well, old crop, it's at like 18 under for the spot price. July is at 20 cents under. August is at 30. So obviously, as you get closer into these delivery time frames, your basis is going to start to tick up, and it's going to start to meet or get closer to the futures contract, if that makes sense. So yeah, like I said, it's seasonal. It tends to improve over time. And what do you need to utilize carry? And win the basis game? Well, you need a futures account. You need the ability to store the grain on your farm, whether that's a bin or, just anything to store the grain on your farm, and the ability to take payment later. So if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, maybe I don't want to sell in December of this year. Maybe I want to sell in July. Well, there's going to be some tax implications with that, or at least there could be. If you're going to have income on the books, for next year instead of this year, what's that do for your tax situation? I don't know. It's going to be different, for everybody. And also, what do you need for cash flow? Can you wait to take payment on your corn until next July, or do you need it? Do you need the money in December? Stuff like that. So, so I just pulled these from our local co-op. These are our local grain bids here, and it's May 23rd, 2019. So. And here's a good chart of our seasonal basis here, and this is just off the May 2019 delivery time. We started at a 43 under basis, and we have ended today at 20 cents under. So our basis has improved about 23 cents here since July. And that's just been because our local market has needed corn. We've been down about 20% or so on our supplies from last year. The way it's looking, it's going to be about the same this year or possibly worse. So we'll see what happens there. So here is just an example. So cash sale today. This is just if you were to sell as a producer today, for the new crop, your December 2019 corn, we're sitting at 408 on the futures market. Our basis is 4,500. You can get a 363 cash price today. Or if you were to, sell to your co-op and you want it deferred, you could get an extra 17 cents by selling July 2020 corn. The futures price is 427.5 there. And the basis today is 47, and you could get a cash price of 380. So there's about 17.5 cents a carry there, 17 cents. And that would just be, your incentive if you didn't utilize the futures market. Your incentive would be 17 cents to hold that grain in your bin and take that, lock in this 47-cent basis. So I'm going to show how you can, potentially win the basis game here. So, by selling one July 2020 futures contract, you could do it today at the close at 427.5. This is on May 23rd, 2019. So this example is if we fast forward a year, and yes, we locked it in at 427.5, and I did a couple of these examples, kind of extreme here, but definitely could happen. What if the futures price goes to 527.5, and what if the futures price goes to 327.5, and what if the basis improves as well? So I'll just walk you through this example. So let's say that we lock this in at 427.5, and the market goes to 527.5. Well, you're going to have a margin call here through me. You'd have a margin call in my office. You'd be paying that, obviously, as the market rallies up. But let's say that, May 23rd, 2020. So you'd have the, when you go to deliver your grain, you would have the futures price at 527.5. And the basis, we started at a negative 47 basis on May 23rd, 2019. Let's say that it improves, the 27 cents to a 20 cent under basis. That would be an improvement of 27 total cents, if that makes sense. So if the basis improved 27 cents, that means it got closer to the July 2020 futures price by 27 cents. And that's not, realistic for at least Northwest Iowa at all. That's where we sit currently right now with July 2019 corn. So let's just take a look at this here. So if we had, when you go into the co-op, you'd be getting 507.5 across the scale for your corn. And when you factor in, the $1 margin call that you would have had, and the 20 cent under basis, that would be net out to 407.5. And how does that compare? Well, you could have gotten the 380 from up here, the July 2020 spot price. You could have gotten, the 380, but you also, by locking in this 47 under basis, well, you would have left 27 cents on the table, hypothetically, if you would have done that and not utilized futures. And so this other example would be is if you locked it in at 427.5 and the market went down to 327.5, well, you'd have $1 profit in my office and no margin call, obviously. And if you had a 20 cent under basis, you'd be getting 307.5 across the scale when you sold it at the co-op. And you would go ahead and add that $1 back to your 307.5 price, and you would get the 407.5 instead of the 380 that you could have gotten May 23rd, 2019. So this is going to help you gain that 27 cents of basis improvement, or whatever it would be. Say we gain 10 cents, gain 20 cents, whatever it is. You could lock that in whenever you feel comfortable. But this having a futures account gives you an opportunity to use your bins to their fullest capacity, because instead of getting the 17.5 cents of carry that you could get up here just using your futures account, that would be at least, that would be about 44 cents of carry just using your futures account. You would add the 17.5 cents you got up here with the 27 cents down here. And that would give you about another 44 cents, and it'll pay for a bin pretty quickly. And 407.5 cash corn really will keep your banker happy. You might not get the highest, price, you're totally subject to margin calls. You'd have to make margin calls, if we did further rally than 427.5 in July. But you know what? 407.5 corn at the end of the day is going to keep you in business for the next year. So it's going to keep your banker happy. If you have any questions on this, feel free to give me a call at 712-262-7606. Otherwise, visit us at aa-commodities.com or stop in my office at Telco Triad in Spencer. I can give you guys a better example of this as well. So that's all I got for today, and hope you guys get a lot done out there. Thank you.